Good morning. You're joining Edward and Ann at the kitchen table on the 14th of January, and that would be Sunday, as we have communion and a little breakfast. Was this our breakfast communion this morning? We're going to dive into a very deep word, one that we will need to pray over to really understand what we've been talking about and praying about is how to bring forth resurrection life, how to manifest it. And that's going to be the subject of this meditation. We'll call this meditation the fabric of reality. So we're concerned with how to bring in the kingdom, how to manifest sonship. And that was a word that was given a few years back when the word came, manifest sonship. And, of course, you have to ask yourself, how do we do that? How do we manifest sonship? And is sonship, does that go hand in hand with resurrection life? Does one precede the other? Or does one validate the other? Can we be moving in sonship even prior to the manifestation of resurrection life? We know that in the Word it says that the final seal of our sonship is the resurrection of the body. I believe that's in the book of Romans. Let's take a look. Romans 8:23 speaks about the completion of the adoption of sons, to it the redemption of the physical body. So we can get picking hairs here, and I think that we're in the midst of something that we don't quite understand. Can you be a son? Can you manifest sonship and yet not have the redemption of the body yet? I think that we're missing it if we're waiting for the redemption of the body to validate the sonship that has already been put within us. So it goes back to the question that came from the Lord when he said, manifest sonship. He wasn't saying manifest resurrection life. He was saying manifest sonship. Sonship is not waiting for the redemption of the body. And the point here is to get out of anything within our thinking that is waiting for something, waiting for the Lord to do something. And that's a difficult thing when you hit this juncture that we're at, because we're at the end of the road, and the wall in front of you is 20 feet high, and you don't have a sky hook or a ladder to get over that wall. But we're at this point. We don't quite have the redemption of the physical body. And yet God has told us, you are my sons, and it's time to begin to function. And it's time to manifest. So we're looking to keep ourselves out of a mode of waiting. That's the whole rapture mentality. They're waiting for God to do something that's going to just take them out. And yes, we are waiting for the Lord to do something, to pull us over, to complete, to the same power that transformed Christ's body at the Mount of Transfiguration, for that same power that is being beamed to us to complete the transition for us. That's something that we can't do. So there is an element that we are looking for the Lord to complete that. But that cannot put us on hold as if everything is contingent upon that. When God has said, today, you are my son. Today I have begotten thee. But Lord, I don't have resurrection life, but it doesn't matter. That's not part of that equation. And so we are still coming to grips with how do we manifest sonship. If indeed we have sonship, which I believe we do, how do we manifest it? What do we do? And a lot of it, is just has been so hidden. And yet we know that part of the identification of sonship is that in the book of Revelations, it talks about being sealed on the forehead. God's sons are sealed on the forehead, which is perception. Why don't you seal it on the arm or some other part of the body? But no, it's the forehead, because that is where the sixth chakra, if you are into chakras at all, is centered. That's the area of your ability to see. And of course, the top of your head is the crown, or the seventh chakra. So it's all interconnected. But the sons are sealed on the forehead, because it's only the sons during this time that will have the ability to see. And in seeing, to become and to manifest. The book of Revelation also talks about the book. Who is worthy to break the seal, to open the book. We've talked about this. In the context that the sons of God are the book. They are the living book that they themselves don't even realize. And we've talked about keys of the kingdom. Matthew talks about, quoting Christ, I will give you the keys of the kingdom, and what you bind will be bound. We can make the assumption that the keys of the kingdom are all about authority, but they're not. Paul talked about not, how does it go? Not flailing the air, just kind of, beating the air, without a real focus and perception, discernment. And so all of these elements kind of come together to make you just ponder a little bit more deeply where God has positioned the sons and what He's requiring of them. And so the keys of the kingdom are about more than just authority. It's about being able to make that authority work. Everyone has authority that is in God, and that authority is commensurate to the level that you've died out and Christ has come forth within you, because it's Christ's authority anyway. So that's nothing greatly mystical. It just is what it is. But the keys are something different. The seals are coming off the book. The book is us, His sons. And the keys are being given to the sons. The keys to do what? To bring forth the kingdom, to manifest sonship. So we're probing this morning because we're trying to find and understand how to move forward. So we're going to talk about a vision that came a few years back. It has to do with what I would call the fabric of reality. But it also, and the only point that I'm really going to go here with this, is to challenge our mental paradigm of how we think things are and are created, and what internally can we embrace that will change our perspective and our approach every day, every night, that will make a difference in being able to create the manifesting of sonship through us. You can say, well, when the Lord said manifest sonship, you can say, well, okay, tell me how to do it. But then he says, I've already given you everything concerning life and godliness. You've already got it. You just don't know you have it. You haven't been able to access the deep things that I've already put within you. So we're in this process of accessing what's already put within the sons. The sons are walking around a wealth of information, knowledge, and understanding that they've carried since their sojourn began, because it's part of who they've been, for eons past. And a lot of it has just been this search and discover mode to really remember what you've been given and remember just the whole depth of everything that is within your spirit. And so this morning we're going to talk about what creates reality. The reality that we're looking for is the reality of sonship. It's the reality of how God sees us. It's the reality of what we already have, but have not been able to manifest. It's the reality that has to happen now, even before the transition of our bodies. Something has to just come together for us on a deeper level. So I'll read this vision, and we'll talk about it briefly. And I'll see if I can't. I'm just going to paraphrase it rather than getting into a lot of the details of what came. But the word came, how sound is at the essence of the creation of reality. It's how the fabric of reality is actually woven. That sound, or music, are the building threads that literally create reality at the base level of the universe. Sounds are like threads. Where a seamstress would create fabric from weaving threads of cotton or other materials, sound and the varying frequencies of sound are the building threads at the base of creation that are woven together to create reality. I saw in front of me a ball. That ball represented a created reality. It could have been the planet Earth in the state of void, I'm not sure. I saw a piece of cloth or fabric above the ball that was to encircle the ball. That fabric represented a reality that was created from the weaving of sound, vibration, and energy threads. It would be complete once the fabric encircled the ball. And that reality appeared substantive and could have been anything, but the woven fabric that was created of sound and frequency actually enveloped the reality that had existed in that ball and caused a new reality to come forth. Everything is based upon sound, frequency, and vibration. And music and sound at the base of creation is the thread that is used to create reality. I was reflecting back in the book of Revelation how the Father is enthroned upon our praises. There is something in our worship of the Lord that creates like a fabric and encases everything. It's important to start and end our day with worship. It's like taking out this magical sewing machine and we're creating a reality for that day or night. The word and worship is so limiting to what the Father is speaking about. The sound coming out of our mouth, we are weaving it and it's encapsulating a whole different level of reality. The sounds going into the earth this past decade, the sounds, frequencies, and vibrations have been of death, destruction, and hate. And this has been weaving a reality that is encompassing the earth right now. This reality is going to continue to grow, even as we saw in the vision about 2 years ago of what was coming into the earth plane that would affect everyone, except those who truly were walking with God. That level of reality is encircling the globe. However, there is a counterinsurgency happening, and that counterinsurgency is the sons who are beginning to create a whole different reality. And that is being created by the word they speak, by the worship they have, by the frequency of their very being. It is beginning to create an alternate reality to go against that which has been in the process of being created now for several decades. I recall a vision that came some years back, and it said, with the beginning of each day, a new song is sung. It was like each day, as you rise, what you speak or sing creates a reality into manifestation. So that, in essence, is the overview of the vision, which I called the fabric of reality. And the reason to even bring this out is to just grasp what is being shown. Because we create by virtue of our mindset. As a man thinks, so is he in his heart. But it's more than that. If you were to take it back a step or two, you could say, well, how does that happen? As a man thinks, so is he. How does that happen? It is a product of sound, frequencies, vibration, energy, what you are projecting. There are people that we know that we have very a difficulty being around because they don't realize what they're creating, whether it's their sympathy or their problems, their challenges, whatever it is. Rather than creating a positive reality, they are creating or substantiating a negative reality, which really is an illusion. And that can be hard. You can say, well, how is it an illusion when it is so real? But that's why it's so important that how we think about everything plays a huge factor. It's the glass half full or half empty. And these are changes that have to happen deep within to really see something manifest and change. So when we talk about manifesting sonship, it starts at the point of how you think. It also can be strengthened by what you speak and by your worship. And just to kind of look at it from another perspective and say that how I'm thinking is projecting a certain energy. What you speak is creating a certain sound. Your worship, a certain vibration. All of these are like threads to the seamstress. So you're projecting out the threads of how you think, what you're speaking, the threads of your worship, and just your whole demeanor. And those threads are being taken and are weaving a reality, your reality. And so your reality can be one of lack, of being the victim, of sympathy, woe, any number of things, and which then become a perfect conduit for transference. That would be the energy that transference rides on. That whole weaving of that type of reality coming out of people is the perfect conduit for transference. But transference doesn't really work, the negative transference, when you're dealing with a reality that is very positive. You're dealing with worship. You're dealing with speaking the word. And so, how do we take another step in manifesting sonship and the breakthroughs that we're looking for right now? Well, it's a baby step, but it's our prophecy, the words that we're speaking, the vibration coming out of our being, our demeanor and how we think. All of that goes to create a reality. And I know that our reality is that of sonship. And our desire has been to come into alignment with how the Lord sees us. And this is just a beginning step to come into that alignment. I would rather be in alignment to how the Lord sees us than in alignment to what the enemy is trying to create as he is allowed to come against you. Anyway, that's about all we have to say this morning. Just a little something to give some further thoughts to. And with that, we'll sign off and we send our blessings. Amen.